Is it? You are now entered the Nerd Dungeon, and we are doing our Kliq Talk weekly episodes. Can check us out every Monday night. Tonight's not Monday, but we're still doing it. Um, so, how's your guys' week been? You got Mr. Dre, Smitty Rock, King Bob, and apparently John Cena.
The champ is here. I will not acknowledge you.
Oh wait. Oh, he's in the ring. I can't take him out. I will take out a better champ though.
Hang on. No, hang on. Let's just have it out right now, Cena.
Just have him kiss. Just kiss
If
him.
you haven't noticed, I got taken out by some beef jerky, so that's why I've got a gap tooth. So let's just get right down to that. So let's talk about our movies.
Oh, please, let's do.
I enjoyed my movie, so I have no complaints.
I've always been, what's up, Ob? Yes, Cena does suck, and Roman's gonna kick his ass. So
What's up, Obi?
I'll go first. I had Police Academy.
Getting up first from Spotify. Here's the latest.
Alexa,
episode.
shut up. All right, so I had Police Academy. Timeless classic. I mean, it's a comic classic, but it's a classic. I
Damn,
watched
Skippy.
the first one. I could have went to the second one, to where I think Bobcat was in the second one.
Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait was in the second one.
Yeah, I love that one too. But the reason I got to watch Police Academy was Steve Gutenberg, right? That was
Yep.
his birthday. It's his
Mhm.
birthday this month, so we paid tribute to them. Who's to Bray? Yeah,
He's
nobody.
diabetes.
So, if you guys haven't watched Police Academy, it's about citizens becoming into the police force because they have a low shortage and high crime rate. Steve Gutenberg's forced to go into this because his dad was really good friends with the captain of the police force, and his dad or his captain friend wanted to protect him, so he threw him into the police academy. There you find Murtaugh. You find which is the gun-toting crazy mother. You find Hightower, which is he's huge.
That was the Fridge Perry baby,
That was the
who was
Fridge
also
Perry.
who was also a GI Joe.
Yeah. You have all 7 movies. I might be doing this movie injustice to you then, because I'm trying to explain it to the best of my abilities, but my abilities aren't that great when it's an old movie, because I'm like, I got bored a little bit in it, and I love the movie. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love the movie. It's just I've watched it so many times that it got monotonous. You know what I mean? It was like
It could get redundant in some parts, but the comedy, like I think in Police Academy 2 and the Blue Oyster, like that
Yeah.
whole, like, just doing that beat gets anybody that's seen the movie to laugh because it is hilarious. I think when you added the other characters in the later sequels of, I think, up to 4, because 4 was, I think, the last good one in my mind, because 5, 6, and 7 were just sequelitis. It was just they were making them just to make them, and I think that as a fan, me who grew up and saw those in theaters, I absolutely love them. So Police Academy, definitely giving him that one was
don't get me wrong, I love the movie. It was just like after
No.
a while I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it was like the time where the Chiefs giving that speech and Gutenberg is taking guess it was a hooker under the podium.
yeah.
So I was like,
was the
that's
best.
funny, but at the same time, I'm like,
I mean, think about it this way though. If we saw something like that nowadays, it would be still equally as funny. It would probably not work nearly as good, or they wouldn't be able to do it because there was just so much. It's sort of like Mel Brooks. I feel like Mel Brooks films, you can't ever look at
Oh,
them
I can't
being
ever
done.
get tired of Mel Brooks.
Oh, and I love Mel Brooks, but here's the thing: and the reality of it, you're gonna always see a Mel Brooks film and know that the amount of racism and jokes and sexism could never fly now.
Right.
And
Oh,
and
right.
like
You
so if you
cannot
watch
air. You cannot.
Blazing Saddles,
This is really a movie.
Yeah, but
I could
Blazing
never
Saddles was, I mean, the whole thing was about, it was a parody about racism.
I know, but what
So
I'm saying is
that's
that people wouldn't. I don't think people nowadays, as the sensitive culture exists, and I'm sorry if you watch our channel and you want a thumbs down, at least you're
I
watching our
don't
video.
disagree with you on that.
I think counterculture would sit there and be like, "You can't do that because that's so wrong."
Oh, this movie would be banned before it came out. They would never be
Exactly.
able to do a recasting, I would never be able to recast this movie because it would never come out again.
Exactly.
Just because, I mean, even with just the one line. When
That's
you
why
first
you
meet
should.
Hightower, when you first meet Hightower, and they're like doing the stretch out, and he says, "Man, there's a lot of spades here," and he looks over and he's like, "Oh shit, that's a good thing."
Yeah, like there is a lot of moments where like they'll make racist jokes or gay jokes or
Right.
there's a lot of off sexual humor and a lot of misogyny, but it works.
Just say it, Robert.
Yes.
Just say it, Bob.
Nadia, you're
Okay.
speaking my language.
In the interest of crossovers, in the interest of what we get thrown at today, I come to you, the Nerd Dungeon, with a crossover for Police Academy. Police Academy 8, The Purge. They decide
I would
to
watch
fight
that.
back.
I would
And
watch
on
that.
Purge night.
All right.
I would totally watch that.
What's up, Steph? How you doing? Welcome to the channel.
Oh, I'm not gonna be disrespectful. Hey, everybody that's in the chat. I just didn't want to. I didn't shout anybody out, but thank you for all coming in tonight.
No, Liz, you're correct. They would never allow Blazing Saddles.
You couldn't allow Spaceballs, and Spaceballs is the tamest of them all. So is Young Frankenstein.
That's true. I think they would allow Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein is tame, but it's not nearly as tame because they make fun of Igor for being,
I know, but I think they would allow that one.
I mean, I saw it in the theaters, like here recently with my friend Daniel. We went and saw it when they did like the anniversary about 5 years ago, and it was fun to watch it. Like I definitely laughed. I'd never seen it, so I enjoyed the heck out of it. But they definitely could not. I would love Mel Brooks to make a movie now. Give me a day to make that shit. I would die if he made a movie.
What's
now.
up, two boys? Yeah.
What's up, Eric?
I like that one. Hold on.
I'm trying to open my.
That's awesome.
I'm
Dude,
definitely in talks with I'm definitely in talks right now with DreamWorks to make that happen.
hey, listen,
It'll be an
make me a
animated
movie
movie.
poster. I want a
And Shrek
movie
42.
poster.
I think my favorite Mel Brooks movies, like since we're on that subject for somehow, I think my favorite Mel Brooks movies was probably Spaceballs.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
But I think Robin Hood came in close second.
What was it? Don't forget History of the World. You
Yeah.
know, What If the Gods Were Crazy?
But you also got to think that besides Willy Wonka, I don't think Gene Wilder movies would be allowed today because Gene Wilder was
well, Richard Pryor. That he did a lot of movies with Richard Pryor. Like you could, and that was funny because I saw somebody said like these are the guys of insensitive comedy, and like they put like a Mount Rushmore, and like Richard Pryor was like right up there. George Carlin was right up there, and I was like, you couldn't have any of these guys around now.
Never.
Oh, yeah, but I'm sorry. Both of those guys, Carlin, Pryor, what? They're speaking, reality.
Exactly. He
I
talked about his cocaine addiction on the stage while high on cocaine. You
What
can't
about
beat
Sam
that.
Kinison?
Oh, he'd be on there too. Kinnison would be on that mountain for me because him and Andrew Dice Clay,
No,
and
Bill
Andrew Dice Clay
Cosby.
is the only one
Neither.
alive. No, Bill Cosby was clean. He was clean comedy. He was dirty on the underside, like on the low. I'm
That's what
talking
I'm
like,
talking about.
I mean, if you're talking
That's true. There's shows from the 90s that
No,
wouldn't be allowed
Bill
on.
Cosby was pretty bad back
Eddie
in the day.
Murphy,
Did you see
Bob
like
Saget.
Bob Saget,
this is
he's
gonna be
funny.
something that we have to get into on another chat another day because
Yeah,
like
we definitely got to do
No
that.
Daylight Today.
like like we could get into like All in the Family, the TV show that would never be allowed today.
We
Except for
did that on the
Jefferson.
channel. We did that. Just out of curiosity, anybody give us a thumbs up in the channel if you guys want us to have a talk about this stuff, because I totally grew up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, like really good with TV shows and comedy movies that were like real raunchy. So I would love to do this. If anybody else wants to see us do a Kliq Talk dedicated to that, please hit that, give us a thumbs up in the chat.
Okay.
There's 4 right here.
We got 4 right there.
We got 4 just from one.
You
I
win.
love it. Hey, Vicious.
What's up, Vicious?
All right, so you
All right,
you still good on your movie?
Yeah, I'm good on my movie, man. Smitty, what do you have?
You gave me Clue.
Great fucking movie.
Because it was Martin Mullen's birthday this month.
So
Quick draw, what's up, man?
What's up, Quickie?
What up?
and it is, I will
Russell
admit, it
Dangerfield.
has been a very long time since I watched Clue. So I will say I was surprised at as much innuendo as
Hey.
was in the movie. That I would say 20, well, but it came out 85. So yeah, when it came out and I saw it, I didn't even catch the first time I had seen it. So seeing it now, I was like, damn.
Just a heads up. There is a thunderstorm right outside my house, so I might disappear. But I try to come
I was
back on
gonna
my
say
phone.
that's not what we hear.
It's magic.
Oh, and also Vicious is a friend of mine. His name is Billy. Y'all just say hello to Billy because he's dope
I was
people
gonna
from
say
right
all
here
we
in
hear is
Charlotte.
your plastic up there, sir.
Oh, you mean this? I'm taking Kenny out of the box.
But the back and forth with the cast that they put together for that movie was great. I mean, they're all great character actors. So I mean, as much as I was like, oh, it's an older movie, I've seen it. Rewatching it after that amount of time and just picking up on all the little subtleties and stuff was really fun.
They had a lot of great cast in that movie. Tim Curry, Christopher Lloyd, who else?
Not Susan
Madeline
Sarandon.
King.
Yeah.
It's just,
I
it's a great
can't think
cast.
of.
Michael McKean was that one. That was,
Yes.
He was, who was it? What other movie was he in? Oh man. Hold on.
And it was funny, but
Spinal Tap. Go ahead. Sorry.
First of all,
one of the
he was
things I
also
noticed in
Split
the
Circuit
credits is Howard Hessman, who played the captain, or
Yeah.
wasn't even didn't even get credited. He wasn't even in the credits at the end when they were going through the cast.
Really?
Yeah. He did, because he wasn't one of the main people. He didn't get a card because that's how they were doing the card. And then they did the scrolling of, like, especially like mostly the guys at the end and the cook. And he wasn't in it. I had stopped it and went through I was like, they didn't even credit him. I'm like,
Yeah, Clue was great.
Watch
I agree.
Clueless instead.
Nah, Clue
Yeah.
is funny as hell. 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Huh? 1 + 1 + 2. It's like that's the scene I always remember. Like I love that movie as a whole. It's one of those classics you don't not love when you think of it.
Right. Most Tim Curry movies are that way for me.
Pretty much.
All right, Robert, what you got?
I had the movie with the really long freaking title. The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
And why did you have that one?
Because fucking Casey Affleck was born.
All right, but did you like it?
All right. I own the DVD. It's been forever since I've watched it. I forgot it was 2 hours and 40 minutes long. So I was sitting here last night watching it. Y'all were talking about doing it tonight. I'm like, thank God, I'm not even halfway through the movie yet. I forgot. It's not a bad movie. It's very good cat and mouse between Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck throughout the whole movie. You know, Jesse kind of knows what may or may not happen, but it's a long ass movie.
It is.
There's a better movie about Jesse James that I will recommend.
Tombstone.
That wasn't really.
It's not Jesse James.
No, not Jesse James. My bad. My bad.
Doc Holliday.
My bad.
It's a movie called American Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
Colin Farrell was Jesse James. Gabriel Mott was in that movie. Scott Conn was in that movie. A bunch of other people were in that movie. That's a little bit more active, a little bit more, fast paced. It's hard to find, but I actually found it on Vudu and I own it, so I love watching that. I actually watched that last night just to kind of get the taste of that long ass title out of my. But I joked about it, but it really is a great movie. It's just like I said, just way too freaking long. They spoiler alert, Jesse James dies, and then the movie goes on for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I gave you that one, Robert, was it's supposed to be more historically accurate. Where the one you quoted,
yes,
action-wise, yes, hands down, is more, has way more action and is, but, and that's why I when I saw it, I mean, plus, how many really good Casey Affleck movies.
There's quite a few. We listed quite a few last time.
We did.
No. He's in a lot, but how many of them are really, really good, or he's a big player in them?
To Casey Affleck's defense, yes, I'm joking about the movie. Casey does a very good job of portraying the character. You see his growth. You see him start off as kind of like just a fan of Jesse. Then you see him sort of like hang out with him. You see he's a little jealous of him, but then he's just like, you know what? He's just a dude. I'm a dude. If I kill him, I can be just like him. And that's kind of what he does. He gets in on the inside. Jesse starts to trust him, but then he starts to show his hand a little bit more towards the end of the movie, and then he had to act and kill Jesse. So, I mean, it was a good movie. I didn't buy it because I wasn't paying $13 for it. I rented it for $3.
All right,
quick draw, quick kissing up to Robert.
That's the future's damn right. Quick draw. No. To be fair, Tombstone is the best Western ever. Even I know that.
It is.
But Back to the Future
Tombstone is definitely up there.
It goes Tombstone, Back to the Future 3, American Outlaws.
Young Guns.
And the Alamo.
Young Guns.
You gotta put
then the Young Guns.
Billy the Kid up there. You gotta put Young Guns up there.
I did. It's number 5. Back to the Future 3 had a DeLorean, a flying train, and ZZ Top. Young Guns had what? Emilio Estevez?
Emilio
Who's Done It, Billy?
Estevez. I can go through that. I know they had a whole bunch more, but
I said Emilio.
Yeah.
I said Emilio.
His brother?
I'm just shaking my head
Yeah.
at all of you. You guys haven't listed what? Magnificent Seven, Sons of Katie Elder, El Dorado.
I don't watch a lot of westerns.
I don't
yeah, I'm not
watch
a big
Westerns either.
Western.
As far west as I go is like Tombstone, Back to the Future 3,
Yeah,
American Outlaws.
I stopped there.
I did like 310 to Yuma though.
Wagons East.
310 to Yuma was good, but I happen to like. But see, I saw that because I like Bale and I like Russell Crowe.
Wagons
Which
East
is also a remake. There's an older version of
what was
that.
the one with Sharon Stone?
Quick and the Dead was good. That's what
Yeah,
Quick Draw just said. That was really good too. And again, I like seeing Sharon Stone. Anything where you see her naked, it's good.
That's one of the 3 Bs, so we're good.
Exactly.
No, it's got 2 boobs and bullets, and it had blood, so it has a 3.
It's got all
JC,
3.
make that T-shirt happen. Nerd Dungeon, 3 Bs on the back.
3 Bs exactly. If it ain't 3 Bs, we don't watch it. So for my movie, originally King Bob had chosen Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I had gotten Michelle Yeoh for the birthday I chose. But knowing that Michelle Yeoh was only in the final scenes of the movie, he didn't care, but I said, well, it's got to be a movie where she's at least got a major role in it. So I was like, well, why don't you give me Never Die?
And I told you Memoirs of a Geisha.
And he told me Memoirs of a Geisha. Now, I sat and watched Memoirs of a Geisha. I've read Memoirs of a Geisha, so I love this movie. Obviously, the movie, they take liberties with the characters and the story. The voiceover of the narrator is obviously Chio or Sayuri. And, you kind of go through her becoming a geisha, but it's not really her becoming a geisha. It's like her surviving the loss of her family and basically finding love, because a geisha was never meant to be loved. They're always meant to be idolized, but never loved. And Chiho / Sayuri, she falls in love with Ken Watanabe's character, the chairman. And it's such an interesting thing because it's very true to Japanese culture. If you're a fan of anime, there's always the older man with the younger woman that they fall in love. It's very much like Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Kamen and Usagi.
Tuxedo Mask.
Tuxedo Kamen. I speak Japanese, so I will call it by what I know it is. That's what I'm gonna do.
We speak American.
You speak American in this chat. But when you watch the movie, you kind of there are scenes where you feel real bad because Michelle Yeoh's character was a geisha that fell in love, and it's like your heart feels for her, but then she's kind of like vengeful. So you don't really know if she's trying to help Sayuri or what she's trying to do. But it's a very good, solid love movie. It's mostly unrequited until like the very, very end, and you're kind of left wondering what's gonna happen. Like, did she and the chairman fall in love because she finally admits her feelings to him? But again, I read the book. There were a lot of liberties taken. I think it was a fantastic show of Japanese culture. For people that did not see the movie, they had a lot of Chinese actors in it, which I thought was a little bit weird, but it kind of made sense because that was the time where Zhang Ziyi was becoming very big, and they wanted to capitalize on her beauty and her ability for being youthful. And I mean, it was what? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Flying Daggers, Rush Hour 2. And, it's like you needed to have her get like more influence in American movies. So if you like Ken Watanabe and you like Michelle Yeoh and you like Zhang Ziyi, definitely check the movie out. If you like Japanese culture, I wish there was a Japanese version of the movie I could have found where the actors spoke in Japanese, and I would have been happier with that. But
yes, I know Dre gives the best movie reviews.
I'm sorry.
Hey, he actually studies his stuff and goes in and he like writes down little notes.
I do. I actually really do. Like my wife has laughed at me. Like I've sat down. Like my wife, when she was taking a class, she's taking a class on on movies and education. So she was looking at parallels and reading. So she was like, we were watching like Blade Runner, and she's asking me because I've seen Blade Runner like 1,000 times, and she's like writing the notes of like all the characters and what the things I picked up on. And she's like, "Man, you really good. Do you want to write this paper?" I'm like, "No, I love you, but no." Um, yes, he was beautiful.
Yes,
He
he
was
was.
great. Yes, he was. And if you ever seen The King and I with Jodie Foster, that was actually really good too.
It was.
That's another one. Like we could go into like Asian movies. There was several that I saw that I never knew I got exposed to. And if you guys ever have a chance, if you really like musicals, check out Miss Saigon. My wife took me for our first Valentine's Day. By far one of the best experiences and the best musical scores I've ever heard.
So
and Liz, thank you
I'm
for the
gonna
compliment.
leave this. We have 3 people in the chat, or however many people in the chat. My thing keeps going wonky. So I'm gonna leave this up to you guys. I have an idea for our next movie, but I want to know: are you guys more of a fan of each of us doing our own movie, or are you a fan of us all doing one movie?
I would like
We
to
could
do just one, and then
Yeah, I
we
think
keep
one
around
movie would be
different opinion on
interesting.
it.
I think because
I
we
kind of
have
like
different
us doing
perspectives.
one, but I did like the fact that we picked each other's movies out and stuff.
Liz, you're still right. It's the GOAT.
So if you
What
guys
about
are all
Cats?
cool, okay. So if you guys are all cool with doing just one movie,
That's a dead horse of musicals.
Bite
All
your
right.
tongue.
What, Cats?
so
No, not Cats. Miss Saigon.
I wasn't saying nothing about Miss Saigon.
August,
Oh, my
I
bad.
just said
homie.
Cats was a dope too. That's the longest running show on Broadway. Come on now.
True. I would have
You
liked
grew
to
up
have
in
seen
New
close to
York.
that.
You seen the commercials?
Oh, I
About
remember.
40 years.
You mean like this? And the cat was just sitting on the little.
I cannot
like.
stand Cats. So
Oh,
That-
it's I know
I think
my school
Wicked
took
is
us.
actually
No,
taking.
JC.
I
There was a
think
commercial
Wicked
growing
has-
up in New York. Every time I'd turn the TV on, that thing would play. I'd
Yep.
run and hide.
It was because it would be
those
like
cats were scary.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah, a
It's
little
like
weird.
the longest
Oh,
running
those were in
musical.
California too. Those commercials
Longest
were
running
in
musical
California
on
too.
Broadway.
It was
Cats.
the longest running musical on Broadway. Yeah, God,
Of
that was
course
I
it
get
is.
that, but
The
here's
Cats
the
have
thing.
9 lives.
I think right now that Wicked's taken over that role as best musical on
I don't think it's
Sure they
best. I think it's the longest running. That's what I want to say.
Okay, so August is National Immunization Month. So what we are going to do this week and for our movie is we are going to all 4 of us are going to watch
Bubble Boy.
I Am Legend.
Bubble Boy would have been a better choice.
Wait,
Go ahead.
I Am
ask me why.
Legend?
Yes,
Outbreak.
go ahead. Ask me why.
Bubble Boy. He had no immunities. Bubble Boy.
Well, no, I mean the fact that you picked it's fine. I was like, there are other movies like Contagion.
I know,
Uh,
but I picked I Am Legend because it's something most people have seen, and
so people seen Contagion that has several
Okay,
famous
some
people in it.
people,
Morgan
but-
Freeman.
but most people have seen I Am Legend, so everybody knows Will Smith.
And no
Like,
one's seen Bubble
our
Boy
chat
but
will
me.
be able to
I've
chat
seen
along
Bubble Boy.
with us about I Am Legend.
All right, I just saw I Am Legend recently, so I don't mind.
Thank you,
All right.
Nadia.
How about this? If he likes that story, how about Omega Man?
I've seen Omega Man too because you recommended to see both. I had to see both.
Well, I know, but have
only reason I
either of
said
the other
that-
two seen
No,
Omega
I
Man?
understand why he said that because everybody's seeing the mass media Hollywood version with Will Smith. You know,
Right.
Well, Omega
and I
Man
get that.
at its time was a big movie too.
Oh, Omega Man with Charlton Heston after we just talked about it, of course.
Yeah.
The only reason I was saying like Contagion or something like that was because I felt like that's more apropos to what's kind of going on with the Delta variant. I mean, I know we're not talking about the coup or anything like that. I'm just saying like they talk about how the actual virus like mutates and changes, and Kevin Spacey's in there. You know, there was just a lot of different things you saw from the beginning of the movie to the end. I thought that would have been more apropos, but if I want to see something with a little bit more action, definitely I Am Legend's 100%
What are you doing
more
here,
in the wheelhouse.
Fred?
What are you doing here, Fred?
No, Wicked's great. Nadia, let me tell you, Wicked is a great musical. I saw it in New York and I've seen it elsewhere. I love it. I love the soundtrack. It's on my phone. I just think that it's the longest running musical right now, and I think that it's not the GOAT. Like Miss Saigon, Rent. There are several other
I love Rent.
like musicals that I would pick. Saturday Night Live or Saturday Night Fever. That I could go through like several others that would definitely play out before that.
All right. So I have a theory, and I would like to bounce it off you guys for this next
It's a
segment.
demon, a dancing demon.
So, as you guys know, WWE has had a mass of releases.
We'll miss you, Bray.
They actually released 9 people
12. It was 12 plus one referee.
during freaking SmackDown last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Just like during the middle of the show, Vince was like, "Hey, release these people."
Liz, you're right.
We will
I didn't even think
we
about that.
will send you all of your belongings in a trash bag.
Like they did
So
Mickey James.
here's my theory, and I want to see what you guys think. I think Vince is getting ready to be done. He's getting older. He's coming to that age
77.
where he's going to retire. He's able to retire. I think that NXT is getting smaller and smaller. That I've seen many people say the era of NXT is over. What I think is going to happen, what I think is happening, is they are taking the company and they're taking all the NXT and they're making it smaller to fit into SmackDown and Raw. And they're going to get rid of NXT. And I think that's going to be the Triple H ran SmackDown and Raw.
All right. I've been listening to WrestleMania and Wrestle Talk. I've been looking at what the dirt sheet said. And Friday afternoon, Adam Cole went in for a contract kind of like set up, and it was $1 million contract, which he didn't accept. AEW supposedly has offered him a contract, which he has not accepted either. The big thing about the slendering of the roster for NXT, Triple H had no hand in it. It was actually Bruce Pritchard, Laurinaitis, and actually McMahon. Triple H was on the call, but they didn't accept any of his input. I mean, you lost 2 A-plus talents right in Bobby Fish and Bronson Reed. Like, those were guys that were getting call-ups, and they were just kind of pushed to the side. Now, as far as slendering down the roster, as far from what I've heard, Vince said that NXT he wants to turn into no longer the Indies. He wants the NXT to be, you need to be a star. Like, you got to come in, you're going to be big, you're going to be fast, and you're going to be ready to be a superstar to then graduate to the main roster. He doesn't want guys in their 30s. He doesn't want guys or girls like to be like built. Originally, the plan was before AEW started, this was their build for the for the indie market to compete with Ring of Honor. Then
Right.
AEW came out. AEW destroyed them in the ratings when they moved
Right.
it from Wednesday, and then they moved to Tuesday, and they still can't compete because you have AEW Dark. Between Dark Elevation on Monday, Dark on Tuesday, Dynamite on Wednesday, and now Rampage on Friday. I mean, it was enough to say that the talent pool was, Vince was trying to keep up with the Benjamins, and he just couldn't. And everybody knew that. Now, as far as what I see going for the future, NXT was supposed to be the plan was to branch out into Japan and Mexico by next year. As in, like, they were setting up camps with Kairi Sane.
Yeah, they've
and
already said
Shinsuke.
that they were going to do NXT Mexico and NXT Japan just like they did NXT UK, but that never really got off the ground, and that was supposed to be 2 years ago.
Because the pandemic happened. So when the pandemic occurred, I don't want to say that it has, that AEW is the new WCW, but what they're doing is smart. They're taking older talent and bringing them in and putting them to not wrestle, but putting them to mentor and do the classes. Like Jake the Snake Roberts ain't having no matches. You know,
No.
you're not
But
seeing.
he's making a one hell of a person out of
Lance Archer.
Lance Archer, the Mohawk.
You know,
Murder Hawk.
he's the killer, the murder hawk monster. You're killing his whole gimmick. I love it. If Flair just got released because he hated Charlotte's push, Andrade already said he wants his whole family there. He wants Roosh because Roosh dropped the title to Bandito in Ring of Honor. He wants his other cousin, and he wants his fiance and his father-in-law. He already said that it's what he wants. So can we see that? I think AEW is gonna. I personally feel, and this is my theory, within another year, maybe two, you're gonna see Tony Khan show up on a Raw or SmackDown, buying them out because he has daddy's money, which Daddy is a billionaire more than Vince is, and you would see him turn around and just go, Vince, here, give it to me, thank you, bye.
I don't see that.
I'm just saying my theory.
I got you. I understand what you're saying. That's your point of view. I just don't see that Tony Khan buying him out. I do. I see the captain going down with the ship if that's the case. I see because Shane loves that company just as much as Vince, just as much as Vincent did. I see that Shane and Triple H running things.
If
your talent
you can
sucks.
get the reins away from Vince, who
Exactly.
isn't about to give them up.
They will. They will. I'm saying, I think that Vince is on his way out. They knew he's been at less.
You
and
were
less
going to have to pry the reins from his dead hands.
But here's the thing: he's been at less and less shows. Like he's not at every show anymore. He's not behind the curtain every.
He doesn't have to be.
He doesn't have to be no more.
Dude, but the thing is, he sits at home and this is what he does. He calls Triple H and he's like, hey, and he doesn't even have Triple H. He has Pritchard and Laurinaitis at every show. And Laurinaitis is, I'm Johnny Laurinaitis. I'm Johnny, whatever. I can't fucking talk. That idiot is telling people you're fired, get out. Or let's renegotiate contracts. They don't have the money right now. They said he's been calling it to sell. Who's he going to sell to? New Japan, Ring of Honor? No, he's gonna go to fucking Tony Khan.
Sell.
Hell, Nick Khan said there's only room for one Khan in professional wrestling. And the day he said that on his Twitter, I was like, that's a sign that I'm gonna see his ass on SmackDown or Raw and buying them out in like 2 years tops.
This all could have been avoided. All could have been avoided if they had just started years ago. Grooming the homegrown talent, grooming the people down in that state, and guess what? Bring them up and let them shine.
That's
how
the
many,
thing.
How many people have come up through the ranks and have been squandered?
Honestly,
well, that's been the thing.
There's no
thing. WWE has relied on their big superstars and the older talent for way too long because they have become popular. Where, yes, I agree with you, Robert. If they brought up and let the guys do the same characters they've been in NXT and their same storylines up on the main roster, you would have had guys moving and being popular on the main roster when they got moved up. But this whole change of formula from NXT to SmackDown or Raw kills them.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Look at guys like Bray Wyatt.
Fans want what fans want, and the fact of the matter is Tony Khan is a fan. That's why his business is being successful right now. I think Vince lost that fandom. He used to be a fan back in the day, but I think he lost it. He used to be a fan when it was.
Vince has always been a fan of his bank account.
Facts.
All those zeros he's cool with.
I agree with you.
There's no reason to bring back Edge. There's no reason to bring back Goldberg. No reason to bring back Cena at this point. Let them go and do their shit.
He did that with The Rock. The Rock didn't need to come back, and The Rock even says it. He has it in his contract. Like Vince doesn't own anything over The Rock. The Rock could go and disappear for 20 years, and he'd come back and he'd still lay it to SmackDown because The Rock can cut a promo. Cena, he gets a draw. Goldberg is a draw, but think about it this way. WrestleMania said it best. You have a 52-year-old man as the number one contender to a 45-year-old champion who, yeah, he may be in better shape. But when you look at the roster, you have Damian Priest, you have John Morrison, The Miz, guys in their mid-30s that could still go. AJ Styles is 40. He even said, I'm not going that much longer. You have guys like Ricochet. You had Aleister Black, Malachi Black now. Malachi Black, he's going to kill it in AEW.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Fiend, he just posted on his Twitter today. He just posted, they can't kill me. And he has a whole new gimmick. I'm like, please show up in AEW. Please be like do the Wyatt cult, the cult of Wyndham.
Can we take a second to admire Aleister Black's YouTubing transferred to Buddy Murphy? Have you guys seen that new drop?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, it's so awesome. He's been
I'll check it out.
He's been in prison for 8 years, and now that he's getting out, he's got 90 days to get out of prison. And it was just beautiful. Like, it was beautifully done. He used the same people as Alistair, the psychiatrist and stuff. This is just freaking awesome. I'm sorry.
I think Smitty said it best. There's a psychology that goes behind how Vince looks at the developing territory. He looks at NXT as a development to leave the indie style and learn NXT style. Then you move to SmackDown or Raw and you learn the main event style. But the thing is, that's where he loses it. You take these guys that are great in other companies that don't change them. They just say, hey, here's your character, go. All Elite Wrestling's killing it right now. Are there some stories that are lame? Yeah, I trust me, I'm the first one to admit it. But when I look at like half the figures that they're putting out, that their figures are sold out off the shelves, that you can't find them. And the fact that
shit, I've been trying to find them. Like
it's impossible.
One of the most underrated wrestlers is in All Elite, and nobody gives him any attention. And that's Ethan Page.
Oh, Ethan Page is great. Oh, you go. He's a toy collector, and he's a wrestler, and
he's a YouTuber.
And of course he does the Twitch stream, I think, too. I don't remember. But when you think about it, if you just let these guys rock, like I actually last night was the first night I ever, like, Roy was tired, and I was like, it's 9:30. I'm gonna just shut the TV off and say, fuck Raw, and I went to sleep on the couch with her. I didn't even think before. I would always be like, I need to see my wrestling. I can't, whatever's going to happen. Now I can give two shits. If it's AEW, I'm there. Always.
I watched most of Raw last night. I watched some of the good matches, and then I fell asleep on the main event.
But that's the thing. It's like they're not doing anybody any justice. When you're looking at talent, you're letting just get squandered.
You know what they should do?
I agree with you, Billy. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You've got two big things with Vince's current strategy. One, he's maintaining a PG rating. I'm sorry, at least go PG-17.
I agree.
I mean, you need a little bit of the violence. You need a little bit of innuendo, what
appeal.
You need an edge, and you don't get an edge in PG.
You want to know what's sad?
The other part is all of his deals in, going in right before COVID and stuff. He's positioning for streaming and content, not necessarily match quality.
You're right, Nadia. It's bland, and you're exactly.
Yes,
you're echoing exactly what Smitty's saying.
Yeah,
and
go, Rob.
I agree with
Yeah,
it.
Question.
I'm sorry for
Hold on.
you're. Go ahead, Robert. Sorry.
How the fuck are we supposed to believe the product when you know what's going to happen? Because anytime anyone goes for the title, Roman don't win. Lashley don't win. Even when Lashley loses, someone he wins because he's just going to get a title shot right back, and you don't win it back. The one thing I loved about the Attitude Era, even in the Ruthless Aggression era, the titles changed hands. You built up someone. Oh man, someone won the title. Cool. Couple months later, they lose it. Someone else gets it. Roman's been the champ for what? Almost a year now. Over a year.
No, here's the God honest truth. Do you know why Roman has been champion for?
Because no one else can do it. Because no one else can do it.
Because the talent is gone. There's nobody to
The
step
talent
up
is gone. Oh,
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
No.
They have it. They don't know what to do with it.
But that's the
Exactly.
They
thing.
don't
Get rid of him.
understand. You have
Hold on.
with the idea
Hold
of
on.
moving it up.
Hold on. The talent is gone, meaning Vince doesn't know what to do with it. Vince can't grab that talent and put somebody against Roman and make a compelling story. There is no talented writers in the back.
Well,
That's
if you,
okay.
If you
You
believe
say
all
that.
of the stories going on this
Let
week.
me finish my
Okay,
thought.
sorry.
Vince is so wrapped up in public perception. Make-A-Wish, the star, all this other charity work, which is cool, which is great. Champions are there, but can you really have the Fiend come out at a Make-A-Wish event?
What if
Can
it's
you
a kid
really
that
have
was
the Fiend
horror?
go into a elementary school and read to kids? No.
Bullying is
So you have
wrong.
someone like Roman who can. You have someone like Bobby Lashley who can, but back in the 90s, they weren't doing that crap. Austin was drinking beer with the heavyweight title. Do you think he was going into, New Rochelle High School talking to
You probably should have, because I knew a lot of kids that were drinking at the New High School.
But it's gone from even sports entertainment. It's really just a business to do charity. And oh yeah, we put on wrestling shows a couple times a week, and we do pay-per-views once a month. But think about it. Where is Apollo Crews been lately?
Oh, his title reigns
U.S.
is
title?
useless. No,
Useless?
Intercontinental. He's Intercontinental.
No, but
And
the
it's-
U.S. title is just as useless though.
It stays on Sheamus, where it should be on Damian Priest or Ricochet.
I've
Butcher
said
Korea.
this,
Basically,
I've
you've
said
got
this
two
100 times
titles.
before.
You have two
I'll probably
titles
say
that are mid-card titles that could be propped up and
Which is what
done
they
for
were
good,
used to be.
but they're wasted. You
Which
throw them
they
in the
used to
closet
be.
and you grab them in 6 months, and
I will
that's
say
what's wrong
this.
with WWE.
I've said this 100 times before, and I'll say it 100 times again. The biggest issue I have with WWE is they don't have respect for their past anymore. They I think it was, who was that? Vicious was saying earlier. They ruin legends by making them compete in retirement matches.
Mm-hmm.
Or they ruin legends by putting them against new talent to try to put them over, but you could use enhancement talent for that.
Not only that, but look at it, the titles now. Their history is in their titles. And if you have the WWE title going on the very first fucking match, what are you going to build up to?
Well, see, but that's the thing. I remember the Intercontinental title being a belt.
Well, but then again, if you follow what all of the rumor mill and all the YouTube stuff that's been going on this week, all of them are saying no more midgets. You've no more guys under 30. You have to be. I'm quoting what everybody else has said that apparently came out of Vince's mouth, supposedly. So, all right, you're going to lose what? You're not going to have a cruiserweight. You're not going to have, you're going to lose a ton of good quality guys because they're under 6 feet. They're not built, and they're not the He-Man build. So if you think it's boring now,
Vince is stuck in the 80s.
wait till this comes through.
What's funny
and you
is
have
Vince
no
is stuck in the
distinction,
80s.
between any of the people in the roster.
So
if Vince had it his way, his whole roster would have been Lashley, Roman, Braun, Keith Lee, Bronson Reed, just the big sweaty, tall guys. Vince
They
is stuck in
released
the 80s.
Bronson
He'll be stuck
Reed.
in the 80s forever.
that was one thing that pissed me off royally is when they released Bronson Reed. They just put that fucking belt on him. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on before I get any more bad at WWE that I already am.
Yes.
We have matches that we were watching this week. So let's go ahead and do our one that we did all together, which was we watched China and Eddie Guerrero versus Val Venus and Trish Stratus for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. Smitty, what did you think of this match?
Oops, I didn't watch it. I only remembered the our individual superstars one.
That's cool. Robert?
All right.
City Series?
Since I suggested it, I honestly liked it. I enjoyed that match because it was different. I enjoyed it because you saw the dynamic between China and Eddie.
Yeah.
You got to see two excellent women's wrestlers wrestle, and Val Venus.
Playboy bunnies.
But the fact that they put the strap on China was
did he freeze up a little bit?
He did a little. Repeat the last part. They put the belt on China. What?
Just making sure it wasn't me. I can't hear
I'm
anybody.
Here.
Yeah. What'd
You're
you say?
lagging really bad.
I thought pretty cool.
Okay.
That
yeah, he's lagging a little bit. For me, anyway. And there he goes. So for me, I thought I liked this match. It was really good for the Eddie Latino Heat to start to do his thing. China pulled off a great match. Trish got involved and shouldn't have. So I other than that, it was a good match for me. Bob, it says your devices aren't connected, so you might have to back out and try again. And Dre has disappeared for a minute, so I did enjoy it because, I'm a big fan of mixed tag matches. And back then, it was not like today's mixed tag match in WWE, where if the man hits the woman, it's automatic suspension. Back then, China beat the crap out of Val Venus. So,
but
I get it. I understand the man hitting the woman thing. I would beat the crap out of some dude that hit a chick. But at the same time, if they're going to get in a ring with a guy, they get into a ring to fight, Like, you've got Tessa Blanchard in the Indies fighting Orange Cassidy. That's a great match. You have Danhausen fighting Britt Baker. That was a great match. And they whipped the dog crap out of them guys.
Well, that also is a testament to how far women's wrestling has come over the years. Back then, China was one of the few. And Trish was a good wrestler in her own right, but would she have been able to stand up to
Hell no.
most of the guys on the roster at that time? No.
She couldn't stand up to China.
Well, yeah, but is that a real fair match? I mean,
Not really. It really
I
wasn't.
mean, like you
because,
said, well, half the guys on the roster couldn't stand up to China.
it was a groundbreaking moment when they put the strap on China. I agree, Bob. And he's booting up his computer, so he'll be back with us in just a minute. But it was never done before that a woman won the Intercontinental Championship. And when China did it, it was like, holy shit, how did this happen? Yes, Lesnar needs to stay the hell away. And I know that he's getting his beard and his hair on just so he can get back in the ring and be a beast again. And I'm like, just stay away. Go away. You're not Roman. Quit trying to come be like Roman. And I'm saying that because Robson can't say shit.
Sorry about that, folks.
All right, is that better?
Yeah.
Yes, that's better.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Say your piece.
All right. No, I mean honestly, China was a beast. More than her team with Eddie. I enjoyed her feuds with Jericho and her feud with Jeff Jarrett.
That is the classic feud.
Her
right
and
there.
Jarrett put on some good matches.
Ain't I great?
Lesnar does not. No, Lesnar needs to drop.
All right, Gray.
Lesnar needs to take his fugly daughter to move to the outer reaches of Canada,
Where he
and
lives
just stay
right
there.
now, pretty much anyway. Sorry, I had a code brown with the baby. She had a little bit. Geek Dad had to do his Geek Dad stuff.
We're talking about the China Eddie match that we watched this week.
Fantastic match in the sense of for intergender matches, which is like the edge that we were talking about that wrestling doesn't have anymore. Very few companies like to do that. Impact Wrestling just did Homecoming, which did the intergender matches in a tournament to see who would win. Eventually, you had Matthew Reinhold, who used to be part of the Vaudevillains in NXT, win with Deanna Purrazzo. I think that matches like that set a tone. I think you had two talented people in China and in Triple H and in Eddie Guerrero, because Eddie Guerrero could tell a story. He knew how to get he was like, I want to call him a ring general. He knew how to command his presence. He knew what to do, and he knew the best point to put the right spots. And I think China, as what we would call a female wrestler now, I think she acquiesced to Eddie, knowing that he could do that.
Right.
Other than that, the match.
She had a commanding presence
Roman
about
sucks.
her as well. She had that I demand your attention as well. Like whether it was her power slam or she just made it a show. And that's something I admired about her.
Well, that's China, and that will always be China. She had this presence to her that I think everybody in wrestling, that's a big woman. Raquel Gonzalez, Rhea Ripley, Michelle Rodriguez, or whatever her name was.
Martinez.
Yes. You have Deanna Purrazzo, Tennille Dashwood, Britt Baker. These are all women that can all say at some point they looked up to China because she had that ring presence. She had the ability to go toe to toe. And the only other woman I could say that did that was Tessa Blanchard. And wrestling doesn't want to acknowledge. And nobody wants to acknowledge that.
I was just telling Smitty one of my favorite intergender matches recently was Tessa Blanchard versus Orange Cassidy.
For me, that would be Tessa Blanchard, Sami Callihan. I think that match was fantastic. And that's where she won the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. And that's where people were like, oh my goodness, this girl can actually go with the men. And it set a precedent, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I,
that was our group match. Now let's start to talk about our individual match. I'm going to go first because I got to use a restroom, but I'm going to say my piece first. We talked about doing our first fan wrestler that was not in WWE. I chose Ultimo Dragon.
With Sonny Ono.
And
hell yeah.
I watched his match with the Blue Beetle before he in 1991 in LLC, which is a Mexican wrestling organization, Lucha Libre Corporation or something like that. But it was a 2 out of 3 match for the championship, and it didn't let me down. Like, I loved every minute of that high. It wasn't really high flying either. It was more like traditional Lucha Libre. There's some high flying to it, but it was also technical. And it was an art. And when you watch something like that in your past, you have that sense that you're watching or you're looking at a beautiful painting. You know, every little move that they make is an art piece. It's something. It's a brush of the or stroke of the brush. So, watching Ultimo Dragon do the moonsault from the apron, which nobody has done before, was awesome. Watching Blue Beetle or Blue Panther fight back and try to get one of the falls, that was a cool show. I enjoyed every little bit of that show. I did have to put the subtitles on because there was some Spanish that I didn't understand. And when you're from the motherland and you speak it, it's a little bit different from hearing it here. Because here they're like, they'd say a couple of words and then they're good. But when they're from the motherland, it's nobody get it. And you're like, huh? So I did have to have the subtitles. Go ahead.
You gotta have a listen, folks. I speak fluent Spanish and I speak Japanese, so we all know this. And for me, when I watch Lucha Libre in like AAA or CMLL, I don't need subtitles. And my Spanish was taught to me in 7th grade. So I was about like 11, 12 years old. So I get JC what he's saying, that there's like when they come from the motherland, there's like now the thing is, if you were not taught that and you learned at a later age in life, in your 20s or 30s, you probably wouldn't be able to still speak at that speed.
I learned when I was young, but I was never able to keep up with that. It's like listening to Busta Rhymes rap. You can hear you can hear Chris Brown throughout the song, but when you get to Busta, you're like, what were there words?
Oh no, like when I watch them, when I watch it like Triple Mania is this weekend, I'm gonna be watching that. And I know that when oh god, it wasn't Savio Vega, it was the old Spanish announcer for WWE. He does Triple Mania. He's from Puerto Rico and he speaks very clear. There are some Mexican announcers that do not speak and they put the mic like in their microphone. They're like, caballeros y caballeras, vamos a ver una lucha del fantástico. And I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? Una lucha, what? And they're like, exactly. And I'm like, it's like, is that a gorilla in the background or is that a giraffe dying? Like, can you speaky Spanish? Like, speaky Spanish, I speaky it, I understand. Like, it takes a little bit, and then they'll be like, or they speak like, vamos a ver una lucha contra Pentagon, contra Regines, contra, and you're like, okay, you speak too low, I can't understand you. There's no middle ground. There's either too loud or too low. Like,
and then there's the ones that go,
yeah, exactly. Then they speak in like slang, and if you don't know Mexican slang, which I happen to know a lot because of the school I taught at, they speak tons of like Spanish slang, so I know a lot of the little Mexican slang, so I could get it. But years ago, I didn't know what the. I'm like, what did he just say? A cuss word? Like, what did he say? Like, huh?
But it
So
was
yes,
funny because like I'm watching this match between the 2 out of 3 swallows between Blue Panther and Ultimo Dragon, and I'm watching the subtitles, and it's like he grabs his foot and puts it in his eye, and I was like, that didn't happen at all. That was like he grabbed his knee and put him in a leg lock. That's all it
no.
did. I was
You
like,
know
what
what
the
you need to
hell is this?
watch? Years ago, I watched Ultimate Fighter in Portuguese, and they were training in South America, so they're training in Brazil. And Brazil is Portuguese. 90% speak Portuguese there, and
Right.
the other like 10%, like 5% speak Spanish. 4.5% speak Japanese, and half percent
All
speak
right, Scott
English.
Steiner with your math.
Listen, that's how you get 100. Now, I was trying to hear them, and it's like I had no subtitles. And may she rest in peace. My mom walked in the room and heard me watching this on my computer, and all you hear is he's like, quebrar el brazo. And I'm like, quebrar el brazo. I'm like, oh, he's gonna break his arm. And my mom's like, how did you pick that up? I'm like, rewind. I'm like, look, in Spanish, vamos a quebrar tu brazo. Gonna break your arm. So quebrar su brazo. I was like, oh. And I was able to piece together. Now ask me the rest of the show. I didn't understand shit that they were saying. But I was able to piece that out from what I knew. Now for people that don't,
cool. It's cool to watch those. Like you could watch French and German and Spanish and Portuguese, and you could catch certain words. Like I went and did high school French, but my grandma was fluent and she yelled at me in Spanish. So I
he understood every other word.
Yeah, I can understand. I just can't really speak very well. But like my grandma's Spanish, she dumbed it down for me. Like she slowed it down whenever they were. That's where I got Lucha Libre. I watched Lucha Libre with my grandmother, and she would play that, and I would be like, "Okay, I understand what they're saying," and then they'd say something. I'd be like, and she'd tell me, and I was like, "Okay." Just like
I think that helps. Honestly, like for people that don't speak English, or I shouldn't say don't speak Spanish, when you want to learn Spanish, the easiest way to learn it, and this is how I learned it, was listening to the radio and watching the news, because they speak slow and they actually are trying to speak to the masses, and you'd be able to pick up what the gist of what they're saying. That's how I learned Japanese, by watching anime and then eventually studying it in school. And I think that when you watch like Lucha Libre or Puro Wrestle or even stuff in German, or anything, it helps. That's my getting off my soapbox, because I know that I think I'm the only one besides JC that speaks another language, so I don't want to insult my friends.
There was a soap opera on Telemundo that was like Fantasio, something like that, and that's where I learned most of the smooth talk that I would talk to ladies with.
Mira, ¿quieres ir a la biblioteca?
But like,
I can see him trying to do that.
But how hola, amore, and she's like, "Get away from me, white boy." So
it's like,
damn cracker.
There was no crackers back then, so
I'm gonna snap you like the saltine, boy.
There were some crackers back then, please.
Exactly. That's how the term existed, bro. You ain't that old, bro.
All right, so that was my match. I loved watching Blue Panther go against Blue Panther's a legend in his own right. And I loved watching him go against Ultimo Dragon in a Hispanic setting when Ultimo Dragon was not Hispanic. So I loved it. So, Dre, what you got?
Just in case people didn't know, Ultimo Dragon was from Japan and decided to spend his formative years in Mexico to learn lucha libre and combine it with the not strong style, but the high flying style of Japan.
And I will be right back.
My match was
wash your hands.
I know he better wash his hands. I had to wash my hands, so I took so long because the baby had poop everywhere. It was just like I was like, oh, you had poop, so I had to go change her and everything. The match
Took
I
Roman.
chose, she had a Roman all over. For me, I had my match was Ming as in the Faces of Fear. If you guys know, Ming is the father. His name is Haku, and Haku is actually the father to Tamatonga, Tangaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny, or Hikuleo, who's currently wrestling in AEW as well as New Japan Pro Wrestling. I went for an old school match in WCW Nitro. It was October in 1997. It was Ming and the Barbarian, and they were versus the NWO.
Nice.
And I was like, I found this on YouTube when I typed in Ming and the Barbarian. I said, let's just see what matches pop up. And that was like, they had Ming versus Goldberg. I was like, nah, I don't want to, no. I want to see them with the Barbarian because the Barbarian and Ming were the greatest tag team of like old men wrestlers that were just big and mean and didn't even talk. Like the Barbarian and Ming became the Faces of Fear, part of the Kevin Sullivan faction, which Robert's going to be doing right after me. So this kind of is apropos. So I watched that match and it was fantastic. They're a little stiff because you could tell these guys are in their 40s or probably mid to late 40s, pushing it, wrestling the New Age Outlaws. Now, not the New Age Outlaws, the Outsiders. So you're talking like Nash was already stiff, and so was Scott Hall.
They were brittle.
But it's like, yeah, you sneezed on him, he fell apart. So I was like, okay, I'm not expecting a whole lot, but I just love Ming. Like he would put his hands like this, all taped up around his knuckles and stuff, and he'd be like, oh, yeah! And like he would do like a judo chop to the sides of your head, and like you'd pass out. Like, and Scott Hall sold it. Like it was just the greatest sell.
No, Scott Hall was just drunk at that point.
He probably was drunk or high, but in any event, he just went like this. He's like, oh, and then like you see him like fall down, and I was just like, oh shit, this is gonna go south. And of course, obviously the NWO storms the ring, and then they lost the match. So it wasn't a long match in anything. There was a lot of, for me, memories of Ming being in that faction with Kevin Sullivan, and I loved it because Barbarian came out with like what Malachi Black comes to the ring with now is like you could see echoes what the Barbarian did, because the Barbarian used to come up with like a skull mask on, and like he looked like he was intimidating. I mean, you're talking Haku is no small man. Look at Hikuleo. Hikuleo's 6'9" and like change, and he's 330 pounds. And the guy flies around like a damn cruiserweight. Trust me, watching him wrestle Lance Archer here in Charlotte was we were like, holy crap, he's gonna kill him. So all in all, it was like a 3 out of 5 match. Obviously it was more, I give it a higher rating because I think Barbarian and Ming carried the match for the Outsiders, but the outside interference at the time was very quid pro quo. It was going to happen anyway. So Bob, I know you had the guy I was just talking about, so please take it away.
When JC said to pick a wrestler from your kind of childhood that was never in WWE, Kevin Sullivan. And the match I chose was him and Benoit, because they had a great feud.
They did.
Much like Matt Hardy and Edge had that kind of love triangle where Edge stole Lita from Matt. Chris stole Woman from Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, wasn't it? He stole his wife with his kayfabe wife.
They were legit married, and her and Benoit, fooled around, and they got married. But the match that I chose, it was also on a Nitro. It was a Falls Count Anywhere match. And it was one of the first times I can recall having a match going to the bathroom. And you can tell it was kind of unplanned, because usually they'll plant like security around, and the fans won't really get near it. No, you walk right into the bathroom. Dude's walking in. I'm imagining they're going to the bathroom, washing their hands, and leaving. But it was just that, that was just one of those cool matches that just like you didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, you got into the ring and Benoit won, but just that was one of the first feuds that just kind of like got me that drew me in. And Sullivan just had a way about him with his promos. Like he was like The Rock and all them are very outgoing and very like over the top. Sullivan was just like low key, like you thought he was gonna murder you. His promos were just very stoic, but just the way he sold it was, I don't know, it's just different.
I think you're right. Kevin Sullivan was one of those wrestling characters that didn't have to do a whole lot, wasn't a whole lot of panache, but like he definitely had a way to him that when he told the story, and it was like, this would be a complete shoot. For those of you that don't know, that was a shoot set of matches. Like all those promos were not like written out. That was like legit. I have heat with you. You have heat with me. You stole my wife. That was legitimate drama, much like Edge and Matt Hardy and Lita in the 2000s in the Ruthless Aggression era.
And the thing with that feud is, yes, it was played out on screen, but there are people, and when I YouTubed everything to watch, there are people that legit think that Kevin Sullivan, murdered Chris, his wife, and his son, and made it look like a murder-suicide.
I've heard that theory too. That was a possibility.
Not, but I mean, who knows? I mean, Sullivan's weird enough; he probably would have.
Look at what his whole gimmick was.
Yeah, he was the Taskmaster. But also his feud with Hogan was another one that kind of got me too. His feud with Hogan in WCW.
What was that stable called?
The Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, Dungeon of Doom, and it was the Faces of Fear were the tag team. Who was the fourth member of that stable?
Well, it was a revolving door, but you had Faces of Fear. You had Arn Anderson in there at some point. Conan was in there at some point.
Yeah, I remember Conan being
the
in there.
Zodiac, the Yeti, the Giant. A lot of different people were in there. That was kind of like the precursor to the NWO before the NWO got really big. That was like the faction to be a part of.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. First time I ever met Kevin Sullivan, like in person, dude is like literally insane. Like, have you found my marbles insane?
That's not. I don't doubt it though.
Hell no. I watched an interview and you can tell he's about 3 tacos short of a party pack.
In you guys have all seen Harry Potter. When
Mad-Eye Moody,
where he does that with his tongue. Yeah, Kevin Sullivan does that shit too, and I'm like, I'm good.
Well, remember, let's also. I'm gonna try to be a devil's advocate here. Let's also try to be fair to this guy that he was in that time of pro wrestling where
it was all real.
Where shit was real. Like you got like to the. Yeah, there was no kayfabe. This was like the script was, what are we gonna do? I'm gonna beat you over the head with a chair 8 times. Okay, let's go do it. And he legit probably was insane. I mean, like some wrestlers were, and it's sad when you watch their biographies.
Someone got knocked loose, bro. I promise you. Like,
with him, I believe it.
Knocked loose. He was knocked down the block.
In a different state. All
right,
so I guess Smitty, what you got, brother?
All right. When JC said pick, the superstar that kind of got you into wrestling, hooked you into wrestling. I mean, you guys know, I didn't watch a lot growing up. I mean, I had a little bit of exposure, when Hulkamania was starting to blow up because, you couldn't avoid it. But my dad didn't like it. He's like, oh, it's fake. It's, watch something more educational, that kind of stuff. So, but, the little I got to see back then, one of the guys that caught my attention and I really liked from back then was Ricky the Dragon.
Yes.
So I watched a couple matches for today. The one I'm actually going to use for tonight is Ricky versus Ravishing Rick Rude, Battle at the Beach, 30-minute Iron Man, most falls.
Nice.
In which it was a, and one of the things, and I will give props to the wrestlers that can pull it off. Ricky's one of them. Rude actually is one of them in this, because this match was excellent between the two of them. I mean, Ricky came out, had a huge knee on Rude in the first 10 seconds of the match and, hurt his ribs, and was just, the first, 5 minutes of the match was all steamboat on Rude, and then Rude turned it around. And then Rude went up, 2 falls to none. Rude pulls a high flyer off the top rope, which, in this match was one of the stipulations was unless both guys were on the top rope, you couldn't do a move off the top rope. So he gave a fall to Ricky. Then Rude goes up 3-2. And then you get, into the last, 15 minutes of the match, both guys are just beating the hell out of each other. I mean, you've got Rude landing big shots on Ricky. Ricky's going after the ribs and everything. And it was just, these guys were just, they could go the 30 minutes. They were selling every move. And then Ricky gets a 4th fall in the last 15 seconds. And then you see Rude trying to get him, pin him repeatedly, like 4 times in the last 15 seconds to tie it up, and he can't. But it was like, but even with that, I mean, after 30 minutes, these guys are still going after, and selling the pinfalls, the urgency. And that's one of the things that I would say from watching, this one, Ricky the Dragon versus Ric Flair in one of the early matches that they did together, and watching Ricky versus Macho Man. Just the way, the professionalism of like all of those 6 guys, Rude and Ricky and Macho Man. I mean, they knew the moves. They like you were saying about Eddie, and Eddie's another one. He's technical, he's good, he knows it, he's well prepared going in. It's that ring management that
the ring, they call it the ring generalship, I think is what Triple H has called it, and I like that term because you're right. When a wrestler knows what they're talking about and the pace of the match is dictated by the two of them, like you said, they're both professionals. Like you very rarely you'll see that nowadays. There are some newer guys, like I've seen it a few times in AEW, I've seen it a lot in New Japan, and I've seen it a few times in WWE, where you see 2 guys come in and they're dictating the pace of the match, and you could tell like who's gonna hit what spot where. But you're right, in those matches, Ricky the Dragon and Flair, Ricky and Rude and Macho Man, it's like those guys just had a chemistry when they hit the ring. It got you psyched.
Not only them, but like Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior.
Well, I'm just thinking with what Smitty's saying.
Big John Studd got
Hillbilly Jim.
And I think that's in looking back at some of those, matches.
What's up,
and
Joseph? How you doing, sir?
Some of I mean, I can understand why. On one hand, Vince does that because, yeah, I mean, we said it. Cena will get a pop. Goldberg will get the audience pop. Edge will get the pop. But yeah, the new guys don't have that, but you're not letting them manage their persona to the best of to maximize it. You still try, the mold doesn't always work.
No, and that's why we're at a crossroads right now where I think AEW's gonna grab that brass ring and be the top, and WWE's not. And
I agree.
And but quite honestly though, WWE needs to be kicked in the nuts. They've forgotten how to fight. They had they've been down before. They can do it. But this time you're not going to have Austin, Rock, Triple H, Taker, and all them to pull you back up to the top. They've got Roman, which I'm not putting them down at this point in JC. So it's
no, I know that's fine.
But right now you've got Roman, you got Bobby Lashley, and everyone else is light years behind, and that's self-inflicted on WWE's part. You got guys like Finn Balor who could potentially, jump up into the main event scene and be a force if they allow him to. On Raw, you've got guys like Keith Lee and Riddle and Damian Priest who could jump up and compete with Bobby Lashley if they let them. But WWE is they're so hell-bent on making monsters that when you make the monster, it's great. Roman's on top. No one can beat him. But that's the problem. No one can beat him. No one's believable. Which is fine in the short term, but long term, you're in a situation where people get cut for budget cuts. You get, right now, our saving grace is Big E.
Hell yes.
He's a big guy who can move, but he's
a good worker.
Personality. Like I said, I hope to God that he cashes in on 1, cashes in on 2. I don't have a Lashley or Goldberg, or I'd show them too.
I do. I have them over there, but I'm showing them for you.
I want him to cash in on Lashley so New Day can be back together.
That's exactly why I want that to happen.
And we've talked about that on shows in the past. I'm the one who brought it up. But yeah, I mean, Big E is our saving grace.
I think
now.
Here's what I honestly think.
But quite honestly, our saving grace could have been Otis if they didn't do the bullshit move they did with The Miz last year. Otis right now is, he's about 4 steps behind where Big E is right now, but Otis could move up, be a IC champ, give him a decent run with that, let him grow a little bit more, let him grow on the fans. He could be up there.
Well, you hit the nail on the head.
I'm not trying to make fun of the dude or nothing. You've seen Otis's new gimmick. Does anybody else get that Luke Gallows?
He's not Festus.
Festus.
Yeah, no, I don't get the Festus. I feel like he's more Doc Gallows now, like where he's the quiet guy that like will just hit you.
See, I mean, quite honestly, let Gable be his mouthpiece. Because Gable can talk. Either that or give him someone else who can talk. But you have these guys who get over, and it's like instead of giving them a little slack to grow, they just yank them back down and repackage them. Why? Otis was great last year.
Otis was good in the Money in the Bank stuff. Yeah. What they did in the mispackaging of them and the miswriting, that comes down to shitty booking again, out of the character's control. And I personally agree with you. Like, if you look at him in like maybe 5 years, I could see Otis, if you get him into a good main event spot, you could put him to be a guy like Kevin Owens. Like, hell, if I had to put him with somebody to equally make like a tag team, I would have put him with Kevin Owens, where Kevin Owens, face or heel, he does a great job.
Yeah.
And I think that he would rub off on Otis better than Gable does. But Gable benefits from him in the sense of Shawn Michaels and Diesel. Diesel didn't have to talk to
No.
stand behind him. And that's the benefit that Otis has with Gable.
Exactly.
And Big E did the same thing for Dolph Ziggler. Let's be real. He was
Exactly.
NXT champion. What did he do? He came up to the roster, became Intercontinental champion, and what did he do? He stood behind Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee.
No, hang on.
Let me say this: if there's anybody that's
Batista.
Shawn Michaels or Diesel, it's AJ and Omos.
Almost no. Almost
Batista and Devon. Batista carried the basket for Devon.
That's true.
Look at him
That's
now.
true.
He's Drax.
And that's another thing too. Like you look at guys like those big guys that get a push. I mean, I gotta agree with you. I mean, like AJ right now, I could have put him with anybody, but Omos is just stupid. The guy doesn't know how to wrestle. He's big. He's what Vince wants us. It's like the Giant Gonzalez, or or he was El Gigante, I think, at one point, or the Great Khali, guys that can't wrestle, but because of their size and their sheer strength, they just can get around the ring. No, but see, I'm gonna tell you, Mabel, who was like Otis, men on a mission, heavy machinery, he moved around, and then you got Mabel to become Viscera. After he became World Heavyweight Champion, he became a member of the Ministry of Darkness. And Viscera became a character, a solid character, that Intercontinental Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, multi-time tag champ. Otis can be the same way. It could be a shitty gimmick, but I could see that being a push in the right direction for him. Nadia, what was stupid? I didn't know what was stupid.
Me?
I don't know.
No, she said something
behind that.
I need context. Are you talking about one of us? The Brood was another good one, Billy. That's old school. See, that's like that. We're kind of old school in that sense too. Like I like a lot of new school tag teams.
Oh God, yes, Omos. Honestly,
Omos. Yeah, he's dumb,
dude. If they put AJ with Dabba-Kato, that would be badass.
Well,
yeah, I can agree with that because Dabba-Kato can wrestle, and he's a Muay Thai fighter. So yes,
but honestly, they missed the boat with him. They should have just let him and Brondo at it.
Hell, AJ and Braun Strowman could have been a great tag team.
But
but the whole AJ and Omos is basically a rewrite of Shawn and Diesel.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
But unfortunately, this time Omos can't wrestle. Omos has no personality.
Oh yeah, no.
At least Kevin Nash had a personality.
All right.
I mean, Omos is not going off to be in the Longest Yard Part 2.
Facts.
Omos is not going to be a Magic Mike.
Oh Lord,
Omos is not going to be Shredder.
Exactly,
be the villain in Punisher.
Maybe a little outdated on
Omos would not look good with
but I love
hair.
All right.
No, but he's right though. He's hitting the nail on the head. Like you're not going to see these guys
about on his pick that he's.
Yeah, all right.
But if we get it, we'll watch it. That's all that matters.
Dude, growing up, Gangrel was one of my favorite characters to play in like all those WWE games.
Yeah, because he used to come out with the cup, the goblet, and he'd be like, dun, 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 dun. When I made my creator wrestler, he had that. He had a headbanger.
Just watching him come up through the floor in the Ring of Fire.
WrestleMania 2000, Nintendo 64. One of the best Nintendo games ever made.
Actually, no, that would go to the WCW NWO World Tour.
Revenge, which is also on Nintendo 64. But the creator wrestler, in that when you could come out as Gangrel, when you could rise to the floor and you hear like the dun, 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 and then you hear him pop up and the goblet would be all 8-bit. It was so terrible, but it was so cool to watch.
No, but and these guys know I'll spend my weekends like binge watching Peacock, and I'll watch.
I'm doing that now too. It's your fault. I love you, but it's your fault.
Dude. After about 12 hours of SummerSlams, you just it's the glory days. All right, what JC?
We got to move on.
And you got another wheel.
So we're gonna do a wheel.
It's me be more Casey Affleck movies for me.
Woohoo!
We're gonna see who
Billy's
whose
right.
match we're gonna do. We're only gonna do one match, and we're all gonna watch it and do the same thing as our movies. So
I'm fine with that.
I got our names on here, and I know who we got. You can't probably see that.
No, I can't see it.
Not.
There we go. Yeah, Dre, Smitty, JC.
Yeah, no, I see it. Yeah, I see it.
Mine is the dark smudge.
Yeah, it's a smudge.
Smitty. So we said 15 years, but Smitty went out a little bit further than that. It's all right. So we are going to be watching the Dudley Boys versus the Brothers of Destruction in No Way Out, 2001.
Pretty sure I already watched that one. I'll watch it again.
I'll love it. I'll watch it. I mean, I like the Brothers of Destruction. I got to see them reform at Survivor Series in 2015. So,
and the Dudleys,
they fought the Wyatts. That was the best.
Yeah.
So yes, I'll gladly rewatch that match.
I think it was 2001. Hold on.
Good match. Good match pick, Smitty.
I was kind of hoping to watch my match.
I honestly was hoping to watch mine because I love my match. Because wait, mine? You wanted to get mine? Oh,
we want to watch our own match.
Do we want to do it this year, or can we do 4 matches?
I can do 4 matches.
Hey, if everybody wants to watch theirs,
Jesus Christ, I'm gonna need a pie chart, a flow chart, and a Venn diagram.
I'll have to start putting together. Do I have to put together a PowerPoint presentation?
We conceded to one movie.
Okay, we're one
so
movie.
We can do 4 individual. So the matches that you sent, JC, everybody watch their own match.
No, well, hold on. We'll switch it up. We'll give it to like Dre can watch your match since he's above you in my screen.
Okay.
And
he can watch my match.
Robert's match.
Actually, you should have him watch my match. Smitty never gets to really watch independent stuff, and I think ROH is good.
Matches. So, Smitty, you have. Hold on.
I have to find out the exact. Do you know the exact day they did that? Because it was I forgot what WrestleMania the Hardys came back at.
I can find out.
So that it was the night before. It was a Saturday for Ring of Honor, and it was the Hardys versus the Young Bucks for the tag team titles in a ladder match. And the Hardys went and jumped to WWE after winning after losing the belt. It was a ladder match. Because they came for another ladder match the next day on Wrestle. Super Card of Honor. What year?
I
may actually have it.
This is 15th anniversary.
Nadia said it was Mania 33.
It was Mania 33.
So that would be that you don't have to watch Mania 33, Smitty, but just know that when the New Day came out and they were like dressed up as Super Saiyans and they said, we have a tag team that's making a special guest appearance. 2015.
No.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. 2015. I'll send you the link, Smitty.
All right.
It's a good match. I loved it because it was like Matt and Jeff. I think if you watch them in Ring of Honor and then you watch WrestleMania, you see 2 completely different wrestling styles out of both wrestlers.
All right, so Dre, you've got the Dudleys versus the Brothers of Destruction at No Mercy 2001.
And I've got the Usos and Roman Reigns versus themselves.
I knew that was coming somehow. Robert, you have Aleister Black and
Ricochet
versus
Heavy Machinery.
No.
Damn it.
Hold on.
Or the Viking Raiders.
Yes, the War Raiders.
The team that went through three name changes in the course of 2 nights.
So you have Ricochet and Aleister Black at War Raiders at NXT in New York.
That was a great freaking match too to watch.
And JC, you have the Revival and DIY at Takeover Toronto.
Nice. Oh, that gives me goosebumps because that match was fire.
All right. So we all have our assignments, our homework.
I got my homework.
We are going to be watching I Am Legend this week and talking about that. And apparently Dre will give us the best review.
I'm sorry that I practice
I give
learning.
opinions. I don't give facts.
All right, let me explain this, JC. And Liz, I swear, I love you. I appreciate the compliment. I started YouTube 7 years ago, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing when it came to giving reviews. I was very deadpan and very not animated, and it wasn't till after I got to my video 8 or 9 that I was, I learned how to give a good review. And then I just stopped being so PG about it and just started giving my opinion. But I structure it in a way that if you're watching it, you're I'm not trying to spoil the movie, but I could set it up for you to understand why I think it's good or bad. So that is beautiful.
Like with me, the 2 times that I actually sat down and I wrote down notes and studied the movie, my review was bomb. But when I watched the movie and I'm trying to remember from the back of my mind and I don't have my notes in front of me, I'm like, yeah, it was great. It was this and
all right, fine. I'm going to Walgreens tomorrow. I'm buying a notebook. I'm gonna tear the shit out of I Am Legend.
He's gonna be like this. I have my notebook. Guys, are we really gonna go to paper? Don't we have tablets and phones? You could just go like this,
I'm old school.
All right, Nadia, have a good night.
Wait.
Have a good night, Nadia.
I have my pad for work.
I have one too. Right. I ain't gonna lie.
Right here. So
I got notebooks out the wazoo. So yes, I'm old school as
well. So we'll be watching I Am Legend, and we will also have our own individual matches that we have to watch. I apparently have to watch Revival versus DIY, which is awesome because I love that match so much. Robert, why don't you go ahead and say what you got?
Aleister Black and Ricochet versus the War Raiders. The Viking Raiders.
Brothers of Destruction versus the
Viking Experience.
The Dudleys.
The Dudleys.
The Dudley Boys.
And Smitty.
The Young Bucks versus the Hardys.
I feel like I gotta expose you, Smitty. I love you as a brother, so I need you to be watching shit. I want to get you into the indie scene. If I could get old school matches for you, from the indie, so you could see how good this stuff is, you would understand why I would rather watch that over the current product.
And this is where I think we do better than just reviewing these matches. I mean, look, exposing me to some of these matches is great because, as Liz will tell you, I'm the least knowledgeable of the 4 of us. And but today we were discussing all the rumor mill going on over the past week, especially with the releases. I think we do better when we do discussion of items or a single or when we do the pay-per-view reviews where we're doing a item review and we're just talking back and forth versus the reviews like we've been doing. But like I said, I mean, you guys giving me some homework during the week, I'm all right with because it only makes me a little
I
better
think
at coming
I
back
think
to the
that's why-
table.
I think that's why I love, because you're absolutely right. But what I think I love about our discussions, especially when we're doing reviews of our own matches or having our individual matches, I think I'm giving you guys something that I am passionate about. Like, I love that match that I'm giving Robert. Ricochet and Aleister Black were the best freaking tag team that never existed.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm passionate about that. So whenever he goes to discuss it, I'm going to be able to jump in and be like, hey, this is what I got. And same with you. I love that match with the Young Bucks and the Hardys. I can jump in on that match and be like, hey, did you like this part? Or it's the discussion that I really enjoy, and you're able to learn a little bit from it. So it's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just a more for Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso is pretty cool.
If him and Cole leave WWE, I will riot.
Cole is
I know
actually
he
talking about AEW, bro.
That's why I jumped on that one figure tonight, so I can have one that before they shoot up to like $100.
So next
I'm not
week,
gonna lie, the couple of matches I've seen Ciampa in, I would agree with you, Robert. I like him.
Next week we will be doing our pick'em as well. We're going to do our
That's right.
pick'em. So I will remind everybody that I am in the lead 2-1, to 1. So we'll see how they do during SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate everybody stopping in and saying hi.
SummerSlam's when?
The
22nd.
22nd.
Yeah.
No, right. It is the 21st.
All right. So you can
If I
go
could see
find
Brock
Drake.
tag team again, who would it
We
be?
will have a video coming out tomorrow. We will have. I'm assuming Rob's got something coming Sunday.
I'm trying to.
Dre, are you dropping tomorrow or am I? I can't hear you.
I'm dropping a video tomorrow. This one's gonna be a review video of some stuff I got to put together. It was another video I had older that I wanted to just kind of spruce up and bring to this channel. I have work with I'm going to be doing with Smith, with King Bob. We're going to try to get a video out for next week. We're going to try to film this weekend.
All right, so I will be dropping a video with our artist review on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Me and Smitty did a really good review of Nate Michaels. I love his stuff. So be on the lookout for that.
It's actually a pretty good question.
You
in
can
the
see
chat.
Brock tag team again. Who would it be given he's a singles guy? Brock.
Kurt Angle. A young Kurt Angle.
Right now?
If I had to give
Who would you
right
see
now,
Brock tag team right now?
Lance Archer. Tomohiro Ishii. I'll go to my New Japan roots because Tomohiro Ishii is as big as Brock Lesnar.
I like that. Evil
would be another good one. Jay White. You'd have Jay White do all the talking and have him do the muscle.
Did you see that Chris Bays now?
I knew he was Bullet Club. My friend went to all the recordings and told me about it. Like I knew about it weeks ago. I was like, what? I was like, Chris Bays Bullet Club.
All right.
Don't grab that. That's fun.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for jumping in and saying
Say
that.
goodbye.
If you guys actually have questions that you want to hear us answer, put them down in the chat in the comment section down below. Hit us up on Instagram or hit me up on Instagram, Nerd Dungeon on Instagram. I will bring them up at the next time we talk about it. Thank you guys for watching. As always, peace out.
Later, guys.
Later, guys.